lights. It's calm.
It really is ISCOM. Like I moved houses just because of ISCOM.
Yeah, no, it's okay. It's
So
gonna be okay.
yeah, no, it's fine. Destiny, it's your turn. You must tell me about you and stuff like that. And also, where are you in South Africa? In Africa, where are you? Please tell us where you are.
I think a lot of people would like to no. No, guys. So my name is Tebogo, but I am known as Destiny. Not Destiny's child, not Destiny's grandchild, but but yeah, the Destiny. What I do for a living currently, I am working in the financial sector. And I am a meme queen. I'm a musician as well. And yeah, man, greatest thing achieved, man. I'm living life right now, and I am more grateful than ever. That's me.
My the musician part, I've heard you sing on those videos, and can I just say I've played them on repeat, like just thank you, Jesus, for blessing us with those videos.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
So basically, what we're doing is basically kind of like a reaction thing to what you just watched from, or listened to rather, from the interview. But I'll ask you some of the same questions and see how you feel about them because, and I also like the fact that she spoke about women, and also not because she identifies as a woman, but because women in society aren't given opportunity or a chance to express their sexuality openly.
Exactly.
And that curiosity, we aren't allowed to be curious because people are going to
Yeah.
be, it's shameful, it's degrading, and things like
Exactly.
that. And
Yeah.
I absolutely loved speaking to that woman. Wow.
It sounded amazing because I listened to the interview only when I got home, and this is because my day has been crazy. And I talk to clients, so I can't be having my headsets doing the most, But I was listening to it, and the amount of knowledge that I got in that short space of time made me realize that just talking about it, right? Like just talking about it is greater than anything. Just having a conversation about it is greater than anything. More than that, in South Africa, I think for me it's in the world. I feel like women are shunned for being open about their sexuality. And funny enough, I had a topic with my colleagues. Not my colleagues, no. It was family. We were out. It was parties. It was a great time. And we're talking about the music video, Cardi B's song, right?
Whap! Whap! Yes!
And we laughed about it because the reaction that men were giving towards this thing is that a woman who acts like that is not worthy. A woman that acts like that is trashy. A woman who acts like it's not the norm. That's not what they're supposed to do. Who must tell us what are we supposed to do? But we had this conversation, like literally. I'm just like, all the women are like, yes, because it's time. You can't be keeping quiet about things. Great things, nice things the whole time. Yeah. So that's what I think about it.
You know what I also picked up from when I started the Instagram page, they are everywhere I looked on Instagram. There was an American person, another person from not the African country speaking about sex
Yeah.
openly. And I literally, my research for this podcast lasted 3 months. In those 3 months, not one person was dedicated to speaking about sex openly. Besides those sexologists and their Facebook pages and
Yeah.
Instagram pages, not someone else outside was talking about sex in a positive way and like, hey,
Yeah.
we need to do something. And this is so crazy. I kind of want to say in an African perspective, kind of, our continent is so enclosed in terms of forward thinking, in terms of sexuality and women. We have since the beginning of time known women to be inferior at the bottom of the food chain and hierarchy.
Yeah.
And also then in the same way we are then put in a box in terms of our sexuality. And now that whap came out, it's like, what? And
Exactly.
it's
Exactly.
everybody's mind is blown, but it's like, dude, it's been there forever inside of us. We just never got the chance to talk about it, and now we finally have
Exactly.
that.
Yeah.
It's cray. It's crazy how men have. I also told her that it's how did when did men put themselves
When?
on top of the hierarchy
When?
and be like, we are it, us and our penises are it, and I mean how?
But it's what it's like she boiled down to say it's how we're raised. It's a big part of it is religion, because
Mm-hmm.
um I don't want to go too deep into that as well because we know what is happening.
Yeah.
What is happening is that number one, sex is shunned as a whole, you know, and then but now we must reproduce, but now, on
Yeah.
the term that, who put those terms there? Who put those terms
Yeah.
there? Who put I'm just I'm just like, and then you find a lot of us doing these things, a lot of us are exploring sexually, but we don't share it with people. We don't talk about it. It's a secret, but everybody's doing it,
Yeah.
you know,
Literally.
literally. And then only when you find, people who are open to speaking about this, and I'm going to talk about myself as well in this aspect that I'm very open in talking about sex and sexuality, and a lot of people, I raise eyebrows. They're just like, what? I still have family members on my Facebook page, and I post a lot of things, a lot of controversial things, a lot of funny things. I am supporting whatever I need to be supporting. I'm doing what I need to do, and people don't see the rest of the hashtags that I post. Hashtag, save our children. Hashtag, the big hashtags. Hashtag justice for Nathaniel Julius. They don't post. They ignore those posts, and they are more focused on telling you that you are wrong for talking about sex openly. It For me, it raises the question, why is everybody so, about it? I need to know, why are you about it? Because in that, talking about your freedom, in that, right, is you opening up your mind and learning more about yourself. So
Yeah.
it's sad, Keisha, it's really sad.
It really is. So, in like what she had said, she had given about sexuality. You mentioned sexuality, so I want to know what is your idea, perspective. What is your whatever it is about sexuality? Like, what is sexuality to you? Where do you get your things that shape your sexuality, or just sexuality in general?
Well, sexuality, number one, is being open about sex, about how you are involved, and about how you can enjoy that, and what you like and what you don't like, what your right is, and what another person's right is towards that, things as simple as just mutual consent, um things about masturbating, because every time I raise the question of masturbating, people are like, and I'm like, you guys are lying. You can't tell me that you have not ever wondered or been curious enough. And that is what it is. It's being curious.
Yeah.
It's being curious enough to check. And if you ask questions, you get answers.
Amen.
That is sexuality, being open-minded, about sex and everything that goes on with it.
Yes, I love that. I absolutely love that. And that is so true. And even in 2020, I get the question, what, women masturbate or do women masturbate? And I'm just like, it's 2020. Are you serious?
Like,
Like,
what's going
do
on?
you think
What?
we are living in another
Like, we're
era?
just walking and nothing is What?
I
You
still
are
get,
you walking and nothing is happening?
like,
Question.
people are still asking, do women even get horny? And I'm just like,
Yo,
dude, we are in 2020. And also this the fact that she
exactly.
mentioned how the clitoris was only like basically found in 2005. I was like, and then men on top of the
So
food
what
chain.
has that thing been the whole time? That was my only question. I'm just like, yo, nobody knew nothing.
So this man who first in 18 something was like, oh, this thing. It's like, ah, screw that thing. Like,
Clitoris.
he literally took a woman's pleasure and was like, it's okay, it's fine, it's right. What? And I feel like that is another thing in our society, a woman's pleasure, not just sex. I feel like there isn't enough
Exactly.
emphasis. There isn't any way properly where we
Exactly.
can speak about a woman's pleasure, a female's
Yeah.
pleasure. And the fact that
Yeah.
this clitoris thing, I don't know if you ever read about it or heard of it, but I thought it was effing
I thought it
brilliant.
was crazy.
Literacy.
I thought it was
And
crazy.
literally the number, like the amount of orgasms between a man and a woman, just in general, I mean, if I can't, oh wow, if we were to check out
It's
continents,
crazy.
it would be so, the
It's
inequality would be crazy. But 81% of women don't orgasm during sex.
81%. I
It
was telling
still
my
freaks
person
me out.
after I heard that percentage, I paused. I paused that interview and I was like, baby, guess what? I was like, what? Did you know that 81% of women do not orgasm? He's like, I'm like, what? I'm like, what? You know? And it's crazy. It's just insane. My bio teacher actually told me this, we were in grade 12. And yes, he was explaining the male anatomy,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because, when you are doing bios, you have to now know the male anatomy. You draw it and you do everything. You must do the most. And he gave us this fact that at that time, he didn't say 81%. He did give a huge percent. And I think it's the percentage that you mentioned, the 62%. I was like, it's still a lot. It's still a lot. And to know that fact, I was in what, grade 12 at that time. you
Mm-hmm.
know it's a party trick, and you tell people this thing and they're just like, what are you saying? What are you doing? It is so it's I'm shocked that there's women out there that don't know they can get pleasure, not
And they can
just
do it themselves.
they can do it themselves. They can do it themselves. um it's sad because now it's like in every room, like probably out of 10 women, like what, oh,
Only
like
two
eight,
women have
two
orgasmed
women are
out
having
of 10. And the others are
crazy.
just there in jail. What are they
They
doing? What
just
are
in
they?
jail. Wait, no. This it needs to be talked to. Who must we tell? It's like, should it be a rumor? Because women like rumors or gossip. Be like, hey, did you know you can actually orgasm by doing it yourself? Hey,
like,
mathmate.
like,
I don't know.
please go and discover yourself. Like,
Go and
lift
discover
up this
yourself.
little hood and do what you must. Like,
Me too.
please. I can't. And I know that I
Can't.
don't know how long I've been telling my female friends, please go and explore yourself before you go and have sex with a man,
Exactly.
with anybody for that matter. Just like you
Because
need
they're
to
gonna lie
know
to you.
yourself. Yes, that too. But who says you like how do you if something doesn't work for you, how are you just going to just be okay with that? Surely you're gonna feel just lay there and be like, when is this gonna be over?
Imagine.
And I love the fact that
Imagine.
she's mentioned like she had mentioned mental and physical stimulation because that is so true.
Yes,
Our brain literally is our biggest sex organ.
it is.
And in
It
I can't
is.
wait for the way ISCOM and life is throwing shit at me. I don't even know if sexual hygiene is gonna air this Friday, but we hope so. And in sexual hygiene, I literally said mental, environmental, and physical because your
Yeah.
brain really has to be into it for you to
You
be
have to be.
stimulated down there.
Literally.
They have to work
Exactly. And
together.
that's the thing. And this is gonna be an example that I constantly use, and is that it's a general example. When your partner cheats on you as a woman, you don't want to have sex with him anymore, especially if you know that he was physical.
Hmm.
And you know why? Because every time you're going to be intimate with that person, up here, you are imagining them, So definitely, if you are attracted to your partner physically, if you're attracted to your partner mentally, you are able to, feel the energy and, imagine them be, then then that's how you get pleasure. It's not just about the physicality of it and whatever, but it's also mental. And if you're not in a good mental space to, be having sex, then yeah.
It is.
I don't think people are aware that there's
It's
so much more
mental.
to this, and you don't have to depend on somebody else to make you realize it and understand that. And then people only realize it when they're much, much older in life that, oh, but nobody told me.
Yay, that's why there's Take It Off, babes. Follow us on YouTube, Facebook. We have now Twitter. Go and read, like, I feel like that's my whole thing with this Take It Off was access to information and this information. It's like there's newspapers, but not many people are going to read those newspapers. Sometimes we watch the news and
Yeah,
we have to read it, we'll just listen
yeah,
to it. It was literally me going to look at all of that information and giving you a place to access it and find it really quickly, really
exactly,
easily, so that
exactly.
if you're going to wonder about these things, at least wonder about them and find them somewhere instead of having to do a
Yeah,
deep dive on incognito Google browser in X videos. No,
yeah,
you aren't going to find those answers over there. That is not sex education. That is not about a woman's pleasure.
true.
Porn is mostly patriarchal and misogynistic. So
It
don't go over
is.
there. Find some way that you can go and discover these things. And this is literally the
Yeah,
backbone of Take It Off. It is access to information. And I feel like hopefully, inshallah, in the later years as Take It Off goes on, I really want women to embrace this pleasure part of life. And the
it
fact
needs to
that
be done.
we need to be seen as sexual beings as well. Yes, we are women and we
Yeah,
are all of these other things. We are awesome, but we are also sexual beings. And she said that we are
yeah.
entitled to pleasure. Yes, we are entitled to
100%.
pleasure.
We
We
are
are.
entitled to pleasure. It's done, and only because they've decided to make it such a norm. Like you said, female sexual pleasure is it's not spoken about, and to others it's still a myth,
Yep.
especially in our country, especially in Africa. Yes, women will express themselves and dress a certain way and whatever, and the people will think,
You're a
yes,
slut. Like, why?
know,
Why? Because I look nice for
why?
myself. I want to wear nice
I
lacy
want to wear
underwear,
nice. I want
nice
to feel
stuff.
nice. I want to,
Why? What's wrong with that?
why?
And then,
Why?
it's always the men that think this, and then some
It
females
is.
unfortunately follow that same thought
Yeah.
pattern, and it's unfortunate. But I don't think any other woman has ever dressed for another man. It's usually just because I feel
It's
sexy.
usually just
I want to
dressing for
feel sexy.
yourself. And I want to feel
Yes, this
good,
makeup is for me. This whatever else.
Exactly. It doesn't
And
have to be for somebody else. Not even. And it's the woman bashing woman part that comes with,
it makes it sad. Yeah.
the insecurities, It's the woman bashing the woman. Now, the men think it's right because if we're doing this to each other,
Mm.
then
Might as well add fuel to the fire.
we might as well just, carry on. We might as well. And that is why I love the take it off concept. I am 150 millibilly in there because just of the education, education that our people can actually, have access to, and have different point of views, and know and have, the conversation in a positive manner,
Yeah. And I
in a
really
positive.
wanted it to be, I really wanted it to be an African thing. Like, I wanted to wear this because I was like, hey.
Yeah, and then
But,
it died on you.
and yeah, it did, shame. But I don't know if you remember what she spoke about, how the Dutch system versus the
Yes,
USA and ours. And
yes.
that is how I feel about, I can't even describe the words. I was like, that is
I'm so
what the
shocked.
men and the boys in our country feel. in our
Exactly.
continent feel. And also, I would love to
Yeah.
have somebody come on one day and speak about the Xhosa people and going to the bush, because I've heard many things from going to the bush, and I know it's something
Yeah.
sacred
Yeah.
that they're not supposed to talk about.
But
But I do
we've
want to
heard
have this one thing of you're forced to do this after you come from there. And I would just love to have those things, because these are things that inform our sexuality, our way,
exactly.
the permission, those
Exactly.
curiosities. I
Yeah.
would just love to have somebody to come talk about that, because something happens in our continent.
It
Our
does.
continent is, we are very vast, very different, but I think we have similar small things that we can connect to each
Especially
other with.
traditionally, yes,
There we
we
go.
do. We
That's the
do.
word I was
Yeah.
looking for. So I would
Yeah.
just love to have, like, to branch off into that one day. And I mean, the religious things that you had mentioned earlier on, that religion really
Yes.
does play a big part in our sexualities. And we're
Yeah.
having Sex and Garden 21st of September, and I can't wait for that. But
Yeah.
until then, I really, the whole, it was amazing. She said that in like the Dutch education, in terms of their sex education model,
Yes.
was joy, consent, and pleasure. I was like,
Exactly.
what?
Imagine
Wow.
imagine if our kids had that type of information or access
Dude,
to that in their school, sex
they'll be
education.
making so much better choices.
They are sex education. People will say that the government right now and everybody thinks there is sex education. I don't want to even call it sex education because we are being fed and our kids are being fed this information. We were fed
Mhm.
information, in primary school, in high school.
Mm.
We are still fed information even now. There's no actual education about it. And that is why people start getting confused as to, is this right sexually? Is this wrong sexually? You know, where now you question consent as well. You're like, yo, I thought we slept together and I didn't. It's because
Yeah,
of knowledge, the lack of knowledge, and yeah, it's the lack of knowledge. And I think they should change that term, sex education, that we're using in South Africa. I don't think it's sex education. It's not. Nobody's getting educated about anything. They give information, and then we come out here, we're
yeah.
broken. Yeah.
No,
So
there's,
that's that.
it's unfortunate.
It is.
And
It really is.
there was something else that I saw. The whole is not the whole. I don't know. I keep repeating this because I love this statement. Like,
The whole
literally,
is not the whole.
the
The whole
whole
is
is
not
not the whole,
the
and also
whole.
just the whole of it all.
Exactly.
And I absolutely, if I was someone to get tattoos, I would get that like across my chest. The whole, it's not the whole, because people need to understand that my vagina canal, where you insert your penis, is not all that
Not the
sex
only
is.
pleasure.
It is
Exactly.
not. It is not how women get their
Yeah.
pleasure. It is. There's so many other
Yeah.
ways. It is not how.
Newsflash.
I just
You
wish they
know,
would open their minds. And also, young men, unfortunately, sometimes, to me, I've dealt with a few young men, and I think they're so entitled to some things. And I
they
don't know,
are.
where
They
does this
they
come
do. I
from?
don't know what it is. I don't know.
Where do
I,
they, like, I really don't, do they take you aside in high school and like, hey, you're entitled to talk to women like this and treat them like this, and their pleasure is nothing
exactly.
and it doesn't
Mm.
exist? I really want to know about about those things.
But it's a conversation thing,
Yeah,
where
we'll
you
have it.
pick, at somebody's brain. You're like, okay, I just have a question. Why do you feel like you're entitled and I'm not entitled? Why do you feel like when I feel like, okay, I'm gonna be open about my sexuality and I'm gonna choose who I want to sleep with, and then I'm called certain names and whatever just because I'm a woman.
Mm.
you know it's just that, having the conversation, picking at each other's brains, literally just asking, yo, men, why do you guys feel like you are entitled, sexually, and we are not entitled to pleasure sexually? Why is it wrong for me to have pleasure the way I want to have pleasure,
Mm.
and not the way you want me to have pleasure? Because all of them literally feel entitled to, it's like they hold the keys. I don't know. What
I
is
feel like I
this?
need to get a man to do this as well because I've had a
You need to.
sexologist and a female, and I'm thinking I should get a man to do a round three of sexual awareness because we're being very, what is that? I think we're being prejudiced, but also in a good way because I mean, this literally is our history. Like, where else in
Exactly.
our
Nobody's talking about this.
nobody
Nobody's talking
cares.
about this. The only thing that is spoken about is male pleasure. So we're going to keep quiet about that a little bit. And now we're going to talk about from a female perspective
Yes,
that, listen, this thing exists. You
it
know,
does.
yes, we do get horny. Yes, we do
We
masturbate.
masturbate.
Yes, we do want to have sex. Like, why is this such a wrong thing? Why is it wrong? I'm sure they're going to raise eyebrows. You'll see them. Oh,
Mm.
she just said that.
Like it's such a it's like when this is gonna be such a far-fetched statement, but like when men want to hide the fact that no, that's a stupid statement. Let me rethink it. I don't want to be slandered on YouTube. I'm trying to be a YouTuber South
Don't
Africa.
don't do it. Don't
Um
do it.
let me just think real quick. No, but the thing is, I just feel like there needs to be a bigger awareness. We were talking literally about sexual awareness. There needs to be a bigger
Yeah,
awareness, bigger in education, a bigger realization that a
yeah.
female is not just someone to have children and reproduce. We are
Yes.
human beings. We are super freaking human beings. We can push out
We
humans from our
are.
vaginas where you
We
guys want to mess
do.
around with your fingers and your what. We can do so many things. We are more than just pushing out those things. We also experience,
Exactly.
want, and deserve pleasure. And
Yes.
and it's there's no harm, there's no shame. To me, I like questions, whether they're stupid or not.
Mm.
And I will ask them. And I beg, I implore people to ask
To ask, but
questions.
that's the only way you get information.
Exactly. Because
There's
if
no
you
such
don't
thing as a
know,
stupid question.
let's not assume. That's why I
Let's
wanted
not
to do sexual
assume.
knowledge this week because I don't want to assume people know about the vulva and all of those things. I want to literally
Exactly.
show people how to put on condoms because I don't want to
Yeah.
assume you know this. And if you didn't,
Exactly.
then now you know. And if you already knew, well, then maybe you'll pick up something else that you didn't know.
Exactly.
It really is about learning. And I feel like people need to ask questions. And I think I've seen the views, the number of views, the number of people who follow the page. And I mean, I'm not a social media superstar or whatnot. This isn't for my
Yeah.
self gain or whatever. I
Yeah.
was just looking and I just want people to be informed. I think because I'm talking about sex, people are ashamed and afraid to ask. That's why I
They
created the
are.
Facebook, the WhatsApp button, and the email address. That people,
Yes.
should they want to be anonymous,
Yes.
they feel ashamed to
It's
ask and comment,
okay.
do it
It's
via the
okay.
WhatsApp thing. Because
Yeah.
it really is, to be talking about sex in such a positive manner is not a thing in our society, not right now.
Exactly.
And that is
Exactly.
why that this sexual awareness stuff really needs to be here. And especially for the women, it's like, yeah, we're going to
Especially
be
for the women,
really.
especially for the women. I think then we'll stop, trying to hate on each other for nothing, because you're not getting pleasure. You're not experiencing, you're not loving yourself because you think it's
81%.
wrong. 80, guys, this is
81.
concerning. It's concerning.
It is
Oh.
disheartening. Like how like what are people doing?
What are
I,
people doing? And why are people's children allowing these people to be doing this? What is going on?
I can only imagine. I think that number is probably like on a global spectrum. If we were to take it
Yeah, it
down to
is.
our continent specifically, I'm sure it will be so much higher. Because I'm
Probably.
sure we know about female genital mutilation, FGM, and all of those
Mm.
things. They literally strip away a woman's pleasure from her. And I think that is just another way in how, unfortunately, men control us. How they'll take away our pleasure and be like,
Exactly.
just continue with your life. And
Yo.
there needs to be more emphasis on a woman's pleasure, on the clitoris C, and that it is
Exactly.
actually it's 10
It's
centimeters.
big.
It is not just this thing over
It's
here,
not
this
like
little button.
it's
It
not
actually
that
extends all the way down.
exactly
And
the
not
G
only
spot.
this
People
works
need to
with
Google
this.
what the G spot is. If you do bios, there's an actual G spot. It's not on the clitoris.
There we
Like
go.
just
There's
right there.
get up
Right
in
there.
there.
Get up in there.
I really
But
wish.
that's the thing. That's the thing. And it's okay. I just hope out of this, even if a person didn't know, and you took the opportunity to learn, you did yourself a favor, because now you know that when you are, when you are having sex, or when you want to pleasure yourself, you know what it is about. You having the right type of mindset towards it in a positive
There we
perspective,
go. Allow
rather than
yourself.
like loving yourself, not getting, incorrect information from school friends and
Six
that,
videos.
and all the porn that is out there showing only, men getting pleasure and all of that, or most of the time that is what's put out there. So yeah, I
Me
absolutely love Take It Off.
Me too.
Absolutely.
I can't wait for like what one day, inshallah, take it off will do. Because I really want to take this thing to our continental. Like that
You
is
should.
my prayer, my wish for one day, inshallah, to take this to. And I
And
know
it
that there are
will.
going to be.
It will.
It will, amen. I know that it won't be received like okay at first, because I mean, people are very like six positive things is very rare. So it's gonna be like it's gonna be one of those bitter tablets or things to swallow. But eventually people will see that, sex and sex positive things is actually it will inform our society, our populations, our generations to come.
Exactly.
And also
Yeah.
for the fact that I know that she mentioned it's a generational thing of how we learn sex. And I was like, that is so true. Because I was saying whether like in the on Mondays, what is Monday's thing? Sexual knowledge, the very first one. What is sex to us? We literally get our definitions from our parents, whether it is indirectly or directly. So whatever they were told or did not
Yeah.
told, what my English is failing
Or
me,
whatever.
they give
Yeah.
that to us. And then we give it to
Exactly.
our children because this is what happens in my family,
Exactly.
for my
Yeah.
mom and dad. So, like, I feel like we need to see that. And also, the fact that she mentioned that she has, and all the other sexologists in our country are chock and block full with clients show that people are aware of this thing and sex and all of those things. It's just not
They
spoken
are.
about.
It's
It's just,
just not spoken about.
it
The
really isn't.
conversation needs to happen, and the only way for it to become a norm is that, well, we're not going to keep quiet about it. We're going to
We need
keep
to
on
speak
telling
about
you
it.
guys sex positive things. I'm going to tell you that you deserve to be having an orgasm, dude, Whoa. Yes. So, um, just having the conversation. And yes, I absolutely 100% encourage you to take it through to Africa. We're pushing this thing, going through the entire continent, because it would be great for other women to be learning these things, and young men as well to be knowing these type of things, because at the end of the day we need to have a conversation to work together and know how to just, yeah, to be okay.
Yeah, like women empowerment is not men disempowerment. It has never been. It is really
Exactly.
there is no harm in you trying to fight for, or not fight for, but being aware
Exactly.
of something. It's going to help you, your daughter, your whatever else. It's really not something that is going to take away from you. Woman empowerment is not.
Yeah.
And also another thing that I realized that I forgot to ask that I want to, I'll probably email her about it, is my life, my English, people of color, there we go, people of color in sexology, in the field sexology, and also
Yes.
in the fact that she said that there is no certification or high tertiary
In
education
South
thing
Africa,
accredited to do sexology. I was like, why the hell not?
that's,
Our
that's
pregnancy rate and stuff is
disappointed.
so
I'm
high. How can there not
disappointed.
be?
How
And
can there not be a sexual, like, an institution that can
that
certify
credits this. I feel like we
the
need, and
people?
also in
I'm
my research, I'm so sorry. In my research, I honestly struggled to find a sexologist of color. No shit. I know it's expensive,
Yeah,
but I
yeah,
did not find a person of color doing sexology in our country. In our
yeah,
continent, maybe, but
maybe,
in our
yeah.
country, I did not find. And I know that she mentioned like
That's
how
sad.
she did it. It really is. And I mean, I know it's expensive, obviously, and we really don't have the resources, some of us. But the
Yeah.
fact that we don't have something in our country, in a place where our women and children are being taken for whatever the words I don't want to say right now.
Yes.
How can we not have a university or an
How?
institution?
It's really mind-boggling. It's mind-boggling.
Why
And that
is
is
this not on
why
the list of scarce skilled persons in our country?
I was just
It
like,
really
and that is
isn't.
why for me it's the entire thing, sex education. I don't like that word because of exactly that. if it is part of our education, then you're not looking at it from one perspective. If you're trying to educate somebody, you are trying to teach them to think for themselves and also reason in a certain way. So for the fact that we don't have any accreditation or anything in South Africa, it's really, 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 it's a
Scary.
no-no. And hopefully people know there's opportunities like this. Hey guys, there's an actual career you
Mm-hmm.
can go. Hey.
Please. We
Even
need
the way
we
she got her certification, she did it in quite a
Sydney
good
and
way.
all
And
those
the
other
things that
places.
she learned during that times as well, you know, gave information to the kids out there. Come on,
Mm.
guys. Is this
Yeah. That's why my first question was, how did you get to what you are? Because I feel like our young people need to know this. And that's what I want to
yeah,
do with every professional that comes on Take It Off. I want them to know how they got there. What did they take in school? What did they do in university? Our
exactly.
young people deserve to know these things and what to do and how they can follow. And I like the fact
Yeah,
that you said they need history. I
they need
absolutely
history.
love that.
And you were like, whoa, they need history. And you know what I love as well? She actually mentioned that I did economics. Had I
Home
known
economics.
home economics, I'm like, I did home economics. I'm just like, had I known.
Me too.
Come on, guys. you know and in that, showing people that no, even though you came from this background, listen, you can still create a path, and you can still have
Yeah.
an opportunity in making the best of it.
Yeah, home economics or not. I also did home economics. I was like, whoa, home economics
You're like,
vibes.
yeah.
Oh my word. We need to have more conversation about sex positive and
We should.
female pleasure. We do.
Done. It's done. I'm already preaching it. Yeah, who else I gotta preach to? Yeah, we gonna call some people. I gotta preach to some people.
Yeah, I feel like we should have like a whole month dedicated to just female pleasure. But one
Exactly.
day, inshallah, one
One
day.
day. Soon and very soon. Yeah. So yeah.
Love it.
Uh,
Amen.
yes.
I like that. Forgiving yourself and being kind to yourself and allowing to yourself to be curious. Giving yourself
Yes.
permission to be curious and explore yourself.
And it's
That is so
okay. Just knowing that
important.
it's okay. And it's okay to also ask,
Hmm.
and ask the right people. Uh, they need to get on your channel. They need to subscribe. There's a WhatsApp option. If you are scared to ask
Yes.
in public,
There's a
you can
WhatsApp
ask.
button. We have literally
Nobody's
a
gonna
medical doctor, now a
literally
sexologist, thank you, Jesus. And we have counselors, trauma counselors. Ask your
imagine.
questions. There's no
Ask your
harm in
question.
asking. You can remain
No.
anonymous. You don't have to say your name. Just ask your question. That's it.
That's it. Done. Great
Oh,
opportunity. I don't think
really.
it's great. And this is the thing, we need to. This is positive, so we need to promote more positive so that we start having a conversation about it.
Mm.
And it becomes part of our norm, or whatever you guys seem as a norm. But we just need to make more people aware and get that percentage down. 81%. Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
Lighter.
Thank you, Lighting. It was such a pleasure. Thank you so much for this. Thank you for your
Thank
time.
you.
I can't
And
wait till these go live next week. I'm very excited.